Bill 35, and it wasn't too long ago that I had an opportunity to speak to Bill 35 as a whole, and outlining several things. First off is the obvious hard work that teachers do, and principals and everyone within the school system, and the challenges they face today, which maybe they didn't face decades ago when it comes to education of children. Again, we've talked about larger class sizes, inclusion policy, the challenges teachers have with specialized learning plans, and that all falls into Bill 35. And Mr. Speaker, the benefit of being in this House and the benefit of having time to hear different MLAs and ministers, even from different parties, giving perspectives to what these bills will produce, kind of to the pros and the cons. As a legislator, as an MLA, as an elected official in here, it is important to stand back and to be able to look at it and try to determine what is the best outcome. Is it for this bill to proceed, or is it for this bill to not proceed? And I've said before, the majority of the bill, I not only do I not take issue with the majority of the bill, but I actually support the majority of the bill. I think there's things in there that will help strengthen teachers. It will create a better, I believe, working environment for teachers that do have issues, for principals that have issues, to be able to speak to their employer and even to the minister when issues do come up. So, and there's other things in there as well that I think are beneficial. The issue, which is something we're all aware of, is in relation to the assessments and the role that psychologists play, the role that resource teachers play, and the challenges that we are facing in our system right now. And Mr. Speaker, we talk about so many different areas of government and public service. We talk about education, we talk about health care, we talk about policing, and it doesn't matter which department you focus on, it doesn't matter which public sector branch that you want to speak to, there's a similar theme that is woven into every single debate and issue and challenge. And it's the issue of lack of human resources. And when we talk specific to Bill 35 and we talk about the education system as it is right now, it's very clear that we have hundreds of students that are in need of some type of evaluation that are simply not getting it. And I would agree wholeheartedly with the official opposition in saying, wouldn't it be great if psychologists were just parachuting from the sky and we could plug them in to fill these holes and these gaps and alleviate some of the issues around the delays in assessments. And there's no question that this bill, in what it offers, is not a perfect solution. But what is the question is the solution in that bill as it relates to assessments better than what we have right now? And that's been my biggest struggle. I've said before, I don't want people that are not qualified doing such an important job as a child's assessment. But on the flip side, I don't want children not being assessed because there is nobody that is highly qualified to do it. I've had many discussions with my colleague, Michelle Conroy. I've had many discussions with the Minister of Health. I've talked to parents. I've talked to teachers, and trying to wrap my head around the issues that are at play here. And it's, again, not the ideal. It's not the perfect. The perfect would be to have more psychologists, to have more money as a province to pay for more psychologists. But even if you could pay more, and even if you did get more psychologists, there's still going to be a significant gap. That's what I've learned over this process. And it gets back to how this process works in the legislature. You hear the debates, you listen to the points of views, and you have to stand back and judge that for yourself and determine that when you cast your vote, that you're doing so objectively and that you're doing so in such a way that is to the benefit or better benefit than not passing the bill or voting the bill down knowing that it's to benefit to not have the bill pass. So, Mr. Speaker, this debate continues. I know this amendment that has been put forward is designed to gut out the assessment process, which would require the training for teachers and the opportunity for those resource teachers to be able to assess those children. I asked the minister on that issue in relation to what role school psychologists will play. It's one thing to say, look, we're going to take resource teachers with master's degrees and we're going to give them 1,000 hours of extra training in how to do assessments. But my question is, are psychologists, experts, going to be part of that? Is this a team approach where the teachers play a part of that team in the evaluation, but that psychologists get eyes on that and can help direct how that assessment goes for that child? And I was told that indeed it is. It's a team approach. Psychologists are still going to be playing a part with these assessments, even though teachers themselves will be doing it. So again, it's not the ideal. I'll admit that. I think the minister would probably even admit that if he were honest and if you were to ask him. The ideal, again, is to have more experts in the field to do the job. But what I'm struggling with is, do we allow hundreds of students to continue to go unassessed, unevaluated, because we don't have the absolute perfect solution? That's the struggle, and that's the debate. I understand the College of Psychologists viewpoint, that they are highly trained, they are experts in the field. I don't question that. But I do have to ask myself, what is the alternative to Bill 35? The official opposition puts in an amendment to take out that part of the assessments. I understand it. But what's the solution? What do we put in its place? That's easy. We could say that in every field. Hire more psychologists, hire more nurses, hire more teachers, hire more police, hire more, get more. I get it. It's easy to say, much more difficult to do. But at the same time, we do have to find solutions to our most pressing problems. And no problem should be more pressing than children that are not getting a proper education because they're not being properly evaluated early on as they go through the stages of their educational opportunities. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to take the full time allotted, but I do understand, again, both sides of the equation. I understand we have the ideal that we attain to, and then we have the reality on the ground that we have to acknowledge and we have to find solutions for that may not be the ideal, but how do we do it to make sure that at least we're making some element of progress? So I will be having more discussions with my colleague Michelle Conroy and with stakeholders and with government, with opposition, to try to find out where my vote will go at the end of the day for Bill 35, including this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.